Hello, everyone, and thank you, Jason, for the intro. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. My name is Meir. I'm a part of the product group at Microsoft Defender for IoT, in charge of the vulnerability management domain. And we also have Amit Cohen here with me. Amit will present the second part of this session. He's in charge of the threat detection area in the product. So actually, we're here in the session to present a very exciting announcement. We've just released OT security capabilities in Microsoft Defender XDR. This announcement was released in July. And the purpose of this session is actually to cover these capabilities. Now, before that, I will start in the first part of the session to cover the main trends in the IoT-OT landscape, especially focusing about the customer challenges, how we plan to resolve them with Microsoft Defender for IoT, and what are the main goals and value proposition of the product. In the second part, we will cover the Defender for IoT capabilities in Defender for XDR, actually the different features that we've released in the recent announcement. And finally, Amit will present us a demo presenting and reviewing all of these capabilities. So let's start with a main trend that is related to all the digital world, actually. So in the past, organizations were very segregated when it comes to the OT environment, whether it's the enterprise environment, they were both very segregated. However, today, due to the digital transformation and that organizations are trying to increase their productivity, all of these environments are getting connected. So they are getting mixed, and which is great for productivity and efficiency purposes, but it also poses some challenges. So if in the past we only had OT as a segregated networks and an IT one, today we have all types of devices in different areas of the organization. So for example, we have IoT devices in the OT and production facility. We have them also in the enterprise, in the corporate network. So everything is getting mixed, and this poses actually a challenge. And the security challenges, the security risk is actually it's increasing the attack surface. So if we're talking about the traditional IT networks, where usually most of the devices there are protected with an agent that is monitoring those endpoints, those servers. Here we are talking about a different landscape, usually unmanaged devices, whether they are in the IT network, like enterprise IoT devices, fire alarms, cameras, or VoIP equipment, or whether they are special purpose networks like OT or BMS that are part of the production environment and assembly lines, and they are in charge of their own processes. So actually, to have this visibility, to have this convergence between all the different entities, all the connection in one place, is actually a trend that it's mandatory in order to understand what you have in your environment, what is the context of every network, and to have a complete visibility to the risk that might be there. And Gartner are also acknowledging this trend, and they're saying that most of the organization will abandon their siloed approach and will move into converged solution and converged platform that will provide them with this unified visibility. And actually to say that, so following Gartner, actually, we as Microsoft Defender for IoT, this is our role, actually, to enable organization to perform this digital transformation in a secure manner. So this is our role and our main objective, to enable organization to do so. And when we're talking to different stakeholders in the organization, like CISO, for example, so they have various challenges that they are raising. For example, how they can perform this digital transformation to the business in a secure manner, how they can converge the SOC between IT and the OT. And actually, the largest concern that they have is actually, as you can see, that a large number of them, around 31%, are slowing the adoption of operational project to enhance the productivity of the business for IoT and OT due to those security concerns. So this is where Defender for IoT comes into play, and our role is to enable them to perform this in a secure manner. So we talked about the challenge that is relevant for a lot of stakeholders in the organization when it comes to OT environment. It's actually about the unification and how we are converging the IT and OT SOC into a unified place. So here you have several aspects that needs to come into play. First of all, you have the people aspect, the processes, and our job in the product in Defender for IoT is actually to provide organization with the technology, to provide them with the complete visibility to the IT and OT landscape, to correlate the different events and to provide them with the complete visibility, and to have them perform an easy deployment experience. And by providing them this technology, this would enable the other aspects to improve as well. So if we're talking about the people and reduce the knowledge barrier and to allow IT people to understand what are the OT processes, the OT risk in a secure manner, and also to streamline the processes. So in the organization, usually we have the SOC, which is more of IT oriented, and we have the OT engineering side. Both of them are different stakeholders, sometimes with different objectives, and our role is to provide them with a shared language, a mutual language, in order for them to collaborate together and to address and mitigate the different risks. So this is what we're trying to do with the different capabilities that we're providing to our customers. So in terms of value proposition, we have actually three main objectives. One is to provide customers with visibility, which is the first and foremost capability, because as you know, if you don't know what is the threat, then you can't secure it. And usually when we're coming across customers that don't have an OT security product, usually they are managing their inventory, which is probably very, very old, was purchased from different vendor, is not centrally managed. So they are managing it manually with different spreadsheets, and this is a very exhaustive process. Now, thanks to Defender for IoT, we are providing them with real-time visibility to their inventory to understand what devices they have in the organization, what are they doing, and what are the different connections between those devices in real-time manner. So this reflects actually a real-time inventory state, and this enables the different stakeholders in the organization to understand what they have, to scope the issue, and then it would allow them to secure this as well. The second aspect is vulnerability assessment. So as we spoke in the beginning, usually what happened a few years ago is that the environments were segregated. You had your IT environment and you had your production, the OT environment, and all the critical infrastructure. And today they're actually connected to increase the productivity. So in order to do so in a secure manner, we're also offering and providing the visibility and recommendation to the different organizations on how they can segment the networks and to prevent lateral movement by an attacker that is now carrying on an attack with malicious intention. So it's about segmentation. It's about providing them with visibility to the different vulnerabilities that they have in the network and proposal for misconfiguration. But it's also about providing them and highlighting to them what is the most critical risk that they have now in the organization and how it can impact the business by impacting now crown jewels, for example, and critical devices. So this is actually our goal, not to provide you with an exhaustive list of vulnerabilities and recommendations, but to provide you with actionable ones, because in OT environments, it's very challenging to now update a device and to perform patch. So there are a lot of operational challenges to do so. And this is why it's so crucial to indicate what is the most critical point in your environment that you need to secure that will have the most business impact. And the last point is referring to the threat detection and threat investigation process. So what we're seeing in the previous state bar organization is that this process was very manual, very serial. You need to go phase by phase in order to complete the investigation process. Now, thanks to all the different tools that we have and AI and different capabilities that allow us to detect the data, to ingest it into a unified place, to classify that, and eventually to provide you with the different insights and to accelerate the investigation process with a lot of productivity tools. This is what the SOC team will get, and eventually this can streamline the investigation process dramatically and would allow the investigation team to remediate the alert, to isolate the compromised device before attacker can expand in the network, which is the most critical time that you need to operate in order to prevent the attack from being disrupted in the network. Now, in terms of our objective, after we have highlighted and covered the different value proposition and the different risk that usually you have for OT organization, we as Microsoft Defender for IoT have three main objectives that are intended to resolve the different challenges that we have now outlined. So first of all, it's about fast time to value. We know that the most critical phases, and this is what we have from our experience with different customers in the OT landscape, we know that the deployment phase is the most critical phase of the organization. This process can take a lot of time, a lot of efforts. It's involving different teams in the organization, whether it's the IT ones, whether it's the operational and engineering ones. And this is why it's such a crucial phase in the entire process to secure your business. So we are focusing on providing the fastest time to value, meaning that we are leveraging, and you will see it later on in the session, we are leveraging existing capabilities and streamlining different deployment processes in order to get the initial value that allows you to now secure the business. So this is our intention to reduce the friction during the deployment process. Our second goal is about converging the different teams in the organization, because as we mentioned, now the IT and OT networks are connected, are deeply connected. And this is why it's important to also to converge the security team into one team and to have a complete visibility. So as opposed to the past that you had your IT team and OT team that were disconnected and focused on different threats, now we know that the focus is about converging them, and they can communicate with each other and understand what is the risk, because usually the risk can come from the IT space and then populate into the OT. So this is why it's so crucial to have this complete visibility. And finally, it's about providing them not only with the flat list of risk and vulnerability, it's about associating that into the business impact. How this risk is now affecting the business, what can happen if this risk will now realize. So this is our intention, and later on we will show also how we are providing business-related workflow to OT personas that can segment the business according to their unique needs in order to understand what could be the impact if now they have a risk in their environment. So now that we've covered the different trends and what is the objective of Microsoft Defender for IoT and how do we want to secure customers and help them face their challenges, in the next part we will talk about the recent effort and the activity that we had. We've announced public preview capabilities of OT security in Microsoft Defender for XDR. And we will now highlight what it means, a bit of an overview about the XDR and what it means to extend it to OT. And then we would cover the different capabilities that we have released and announced recently. So regarding the XDR, so the OT security and our capabilities are leaning into Microsoft Defender XDR, one of the best XDR platform that there is out there. So the XDR purpose is actually to provide you with prevention, protection, and we're also talking here if the XDR was focused on IT and cloud application and different workflows. So we are now extending that also to the OT domain, and we want to extend it and provide you with unified capabilities, meaning that we're leaning on existing and familiar concept that I will later on show you, and then extending them also to OT. So that means that you have the same entities, you have the same schema, and we're now adding you with additional capabilities that would allow you to monitor and protect your OT environments. So this is why it's so essential to have this converged visibility in order to see the complete picture, the potential attack threat and kill chain in order to address the risk. Okay, so how it comes into and in the OT security approach. So if previously we had two different dedicated systems, when it comes to starting with the persona, so we aim to do two different personas, whether it's the SOC team or the OT security champion, the OT persona. Each of them had their own management system, own management portal. Defender for IoT had their own portal. And actually also when it comes to the on-prem capability, so they monitor different networks. So the SOC using Defender for Endpoint monitor the IT environment, and using the network sensor, Defender for IoT monitored the OT environment. So actually, this was a siloed approach. And our goal, and actually what we've done, is to converge them. And by converging them, we've done several things. First of all, we've unified the management platform. We are now aiming to address both the OT persona and the SOC challenges in a unified platform, and providing them with management capabilities that would also reduce the total cost of ownership, because it's aligning with the existing workflow that they already have. So the look and feel and all of the management capability will be aligned. And also when we talk about coverage aspect and discovery, we are utilizing both data source to discover OT networks. So whether it's by relying and utilizing the OT network sensor to discover traffic between unmanaged devices, and it's also by leveraging Defender for Endpoint to discover the traffic between endpoints that have now MD installed and can identify devices. So this is how we reduce the time to value by utilizing organizations that have already Defender for Endpoint installed, and they can already seamlessly discover OT devices that were not able to be discovered previously. And we have Defender for IoT, Defender network sensor, to provide you with the comprehensive visibility and to cover the different blind spots that you have in your network in case that you cannot install MD for several reasons. And here this is a high-level diagram that illustrates the approach that I discussed in the previous slide. So if you can see the different environments, so if we're talking about the IT environment, there you still have MDE, the Defender for Endpoint, to monitor those environments. And in the OT one, in the right-hand side, you have both of these data sources. So whether it's the network sensor that is connected through a span port to a switch and stream the data of the unmanaged devices, and to complete the visibility, you have also Defender for Endpoint. Eventually, all of these data sources are being streamed into a unified management platform that would provide you with the different capabilities that we will show soon, whether it's the discovery part, the vulnerability assessment, and also to mitigate and investigate threats that are occurring in your network using Microsoft Defender for XDR. And when we talked about how we're gonna bring our OT security value into Defender for XDR, we actually had two main goals here. One is to extend the familiar concept that the security teams are already familiar, whether it's the device inventory, the alerts and incident, or the vulnerability management, and to extend them with OT devices to increase the visibility and to provide them all of these different devices and workload in a unified place so they can have the complete picture here and perform the same familiar workflows that they are aware of, and they don't need now to adjust and learn new processes and actually do it like they used to do, but just to a new domain that was not handled before in Defender XDR. So this is one aspect that we're talking about extension. The other one is that we're also aware that the OT persona has unique workflows. He would like to handle and manage the business in a dedicated way, which is to segment his business into sites. So this is why we also want to provide those OT personas with a dedicated concept that they are familiar with in order to better manage their business and understand what can be the potential business impact. So this is another aspect that we will now cover. So Amit, would you like to take it from here?
Yes, thanks, Meir. 1 minute, I'm sharing my screen. Okay, good day, everyone. It's great to be here today. My name is Amit Cohen, and I'm a product manager at Microsoft Defender for OT. In the next part of the webinar, I will walk you through our approach, concept, and workflows to protect OT environments with Defender XDR. Specifically, we'll start with our new site security concept, and we'll continue with a short demo. So a quick introduction for site security. So let's start with the high-level value of site security for your own OT environments. In today's complex and distributed industrial setting, understanding the business impact of security activities is important, is critical, is crucial. We know that security teams need more than just list of alerts, list of vulnerabilities, list of devices. They need context around that. And that's exactly what site security provides. It infuses the business impact into your security operation by structuring your assets and systems within your OT environments with their corresponding physical sites without requiring any spatial deployment, complex, or setups. One of the key benefits of site security is the ability automatically to associate all sites within your organization with their respective physical location that should mirror your organization structure and the business operations seamlessly. This automatic association should help security teams to gain a clear picture of where each device is located, its role within the business, its geographic position, which is, of course, essential and is super important for prioritizing the security efforts, because if, for example, a threat is detected in a site that plays a critical role in your business operation, the security team can prioritize their response accordingly to make sure high impact areas are prioritized first. The second one, the business impact and prioritization. So this alignment also allows us to bring the business impact directly into the daily security workflow, whether it's posture management, inventory coverage, or threat detection. Having a clear understanding of the business significance of each site helps the security teams to make more informed decision. For example, they can prioritize action based on the site criticality and make sure that most important assets are protected first. And lastly, moreover, every site in our site security feature can be linked into a specific point of contact, into what we call the security champion within your OT environment. This is a key advantage. It can help with many workflows within the XDR platform, where, for example, a remediation action is needed. Your security teams will know exactly who to reach out to facilitate a more coordinated and more effective response. And given the sensitivity of OT environments, having this clear line of communication with a unified platform like Defender XDR is a game changer and enhancing the speed and effectiveness of incident response. Now let's take a quick deep dive, a quick demo for site security. So we'll actually try to look about a practical example of how site security looks in action. Site security available in Defender XDR under a navigation menu called Operational Technology, a new tab, a new navigation menu available called Site Security for Defender for IT customers. As you can see, the site security provides a dashboard where you can see all the concepts we have just discussed about. You can see the breakdown of all of the assets in your OT environments. You can see the breakdown of the devices per site. And you can see the owners that we discussed before that was assigned for each site. You can deep dive for a specific site to get more details and more breakdown about the device types and the criticality of this site and the posture and threat detection status for each of the site. Also, you can manage RBAC and segregation to allow your team to view the risk and posture relevant for their specific site and prioritize the site based on the risk level and make the security effort more target and effectiveness. The site security, the site creation association is also very easy and clear. First, you can provide some context about your sites. The system provides some suggestion about the devices that should be associated with this site for the specific physical location, with the ability to filter and decide which devices should be associated there without the need to go device by device. Then the association just happens and provides the full context in the entire XDR platform. So just to summarize that, as you can see, site security is not just about understanding and managing the OT environment, but it's actively using it to understand your security posture, reduce risk across your organization. We will see later in a later demo that of course this allows to deep dive into the inventory, into the vulnerabilities, into the threats of each one of the sites. For example, here I clicked on a specific device inventory of a site, and I'm going now to review the devices of my specific site. If I have a RBAC for the site, so I'll see only those devices from the beginning. And that's applied for all the XDR experiences, posture and threats, and we will see another demo in the next phase, in the next stage of the webinar. So now that security team has mapped the devices to their geographical location, to the physical location, we can dive deeper into the asset inventory within the Defender XDR. So the asset inventory provides full asset visibility in the XDR portal. It's including the IT, IoT, and also now the OT environments. This gives the organization a full picture of the organizational asset. The holistic view is unique to Microsoft and for the XDR platform, and that's allow organization to know exactly what devices are present in all of their environments. In addition to visibility, the inventory allows to identify which devices has significant risks using the risk level and exposure level that exists there. That's, of course, allows to prioritize action based on the device criticality and focus on what matters most, and we'll explore that further when we discussed about the posture management later. Next one, understanding which assets are critical, the optimized operation. That's of course could cause assets can cause downtime or represent a significant risk to the organization. And by associating assets with their physical site and understanding their business context and importance, you can better manage and protect the most valuable elements of your operations. And lastly, maintaining an accurate and up-to-date asset inventory is also super important for regulatory compliance. As you probably know, organizations are mainly in the OT environment are often required to keep a detailed record of their assets, and our solution Defender for IT provides an accurate, updated inventory that reflects the true state of the organization of the assets inventory. This support the compliance effort seamlessly. So let's dive into how asset inventory process works and how actually the discovery works. So the process starts with the discovery. Defender for IT automatically identifying the assets in your OT environment, in the operational technology network. That happens in two ways, using the MDE agents or the network sensor. We will deep dive for that in a minute, and Meir also said a few words about that. The discovery phase is, of course, is important, is crucial, is critical because it lays the foundation for understanding the network landscapes, the OT environment. And as I said, we will discuss about the specific of these steps in a moment to see how it's done seamlessly. In terms of monitors, once discovery is complete and the network is mapped, the next step is monitoring through the asset inventory experience that I showed before. Organization can continuously monitor the discovered asset. It's not just about visibility, it's about organizing the assets into site-specific groups and defining access controls for each of the sites. Make sure that only the relevant team can access the relevant assets, that all the context about the assets exist in the inventory to help customers to maintain their, make sure they have the right coverage. They can manage security workflows, both posture and threat detection. And of course, it's key to maintain a clear security posture across the different environments. And finally, once the inventory acts as a gateway to actionable insights. So by understanding how devices are linked to alerts and how the OT devices are linked to vulnerabilities or for posture events, security team can navigate for the dedicated experience from the inventory to a dedicated experience in the XDR portal, such as the vulnerabilities and the incidents that's relevant for the specific asset. And that's enabled team to initiate remediation actions and make sure the risks that associated with specific devices are addressed efficiently and effectively. So just to summarize the concept of inventory, the Defender for IT inventory, it's not provides only full visibility, but also enable teams to take meaningful actions to secure their OT environments and their OT assets. Now, how do you achieve this comparative visibility and the inventory that we just discussed? So our approach leverage two data sources and two collection techniques to provide the full visibility for OT environments. Let's break it down. So we start with a data source called the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. It's a key data source for Defender for IT. That's a new data source that was added for Defender for IT in the last few months. So beyond its primary role as endpoint protection, MDE now also helps in discovering and securing the unmanaged OT devices and OT environments. We are doing that by utilizing the existing wide deployment of MDE in organization and extending the capabilities of MDE to protect, to discover to the OT environment with additional dedicated protocols for OT without any additional deployment effort from the organization, from the customers. That, of course, allows organization with that has a broad MDE presence to unlock OT discovery and security value seamlessly without any need for additional deployment. In scenarios where MDE deployment is not sufficient, or the network is segregated, or the network has lack access to the MDE workstation or to the cloud, we provide also the network sensor as a data source for Defender for IoT. The sensor extend the coverage to networks that the MDE cannot reach, and it's including also unmanaged to unmanaged scenario. The network sensor is designed to offer a non-intrusive monitoring for these sensitive environments, for the OT environments. This sensor is being used widely today by Defender for IoT customers for many years, and it's helping organizations to gain visibility even in very complex and disconnected setups. Now, in terms of collection techniques, there are two main collection techniques for both data sources. The primary collection method is passive discovery, which passively monitor the traffic without initiating any network activity. And that agentless approach and non-intrusive approach is critical for OT environments, as it makes sure that we do not disrupt any daily operation, but still providing valuable insights into the network activity. And to complement the passive discovery, we also offer active discovery technique. Since while passive method excellent initial insight, and in some cases also for advanced insight, there are cases where the passive might not provide a complete picture, and active discovery acts as an extension and enabling organization for more comprehensive and up-to-date asset inventory by actively querying devices when necessary. Both approaches, the dual approach of passive and active, making sure that organization can achieve the most comprehensive visibility and security posture possible within the Defender XDR portal using the Defender for IoT product. We'll skip for the posture. So let's discuss now how Defender XDR can enhance the OT security posture management and help reduce risk across your OT environment. So the main value of posture solution of the posture management solution in the XDR portal for OT environment focus on three main key aspects. First, the centralized vulnerability management. So Defender XDR provide a comprehensive overview of vulnerabilities in unified workflows across IT, IoT, and OT assets within the organization. The centralized approach helps to manage and prioritize vulnerabilities effectively and make sure no assets going unnoticed or being managed in different platforms, whether it's in the IT environment or the OT side of the operation. The second aspect, the second concept is the fact that the solution of Defender for IoT and in the XDR, the OT security in the XDR, increase visibility by integrating Microsoft Threat Intelligence, allowing to prioritize protection based on the business context, the same concept that we discussed before in the inventory and the site security and in the site security is applicable and relevant also here. Critical devices are identified, prioritized before others. Remediation efforts are streamlined, being displayed in the posture experience, and this allows organizations to focus on what matters most for them. And lastly, by leveraging the power of AI, Copilot for Security combines vulnerability data from top sources with insights from OT vendors. It makes the data into actionable data. It's not only details about the CVE, but simplifying the remediation process helps to make it more actionable and make the response for potential threat more effective. We will see that also in a demo in a few minutes. And finally, let's dive into how Defender XDR provides also a holistic approach in terms of threat detection for OT environments. So the OT threat detection capabilities offer three main key values. First, the same concept of unified view across IT, OT environments. This allowing security teams to gain complete understanding of threats, even it doesn't matter in which environment and in which infrastructure. And by fusing alerts from IT, OT, and IoT into a single incident, we ensure that organization and SOC get comprehensive perspective of attacks, which helps in reducing noise and making sure that the data is correlated in an effective way and makes the response flow more effective. Also, in terms of prioritization of the incident, so contextual filters available, such as filter by device groups, which represent the physical location, the sites, the criticality of the devices, and all of this helps organization to triage, to prioritize, to filter the incidents with a focus on the incidents that have the most significant impact on the business operation based on the criticality of the site or the criticality of the devices. And lastly, security teams can also take proactive measure to isolate compromised devices by and prevent escalation by leveraging the contain action that's available. We will discuss about it in a minute in more details. And last slide before going into the demo, I'll try to describe in a few sentences also how the threat detection process works using the data sources and the infrastructure that we discussed before. So the process begins with the system, with Defender XDR, identifying compromising IT devices that communicating with OT assets. We achieve this through the fusion of IT and OT alerts. We'll see that in a demo in a minute. That allows the system, the Defender XDR, to detect threats that spans across the different domains and impact critical OT systems. Next, those alerts are aggregated, like the IT, OT, and IoT alerts are aggregated into a single incident, and this correlation provides a complete attack story that enables organizations to see how threats are evolving, how the alerts are evolving, and how they are affecting different parts of the organization. With the incident aggregated, we then allow organization to prioritize threats using the Defender for IT filter, like in order to focus on alerts or incidents that impact your OT environments, or by the device group filter that help you to prioritize on your critical sites. And this process, the triage process, can help you to focus on site-specific issues and make sure that critical incidents are addressed based on their, again, business impact and their urgency. Finally, the Defender XDR allows customers, organizations to act on incidents by isolating compromised devices and prevent threat to escalate and make a real business impact or to damage the OT environment. So by understanding our attacks such as phishing, for example, programs from IT to OT, we can help organizations to contain, to isolate threat early in the IT phase and prevent the impact on sensitive OT environments. Those actions are not automatic and they require human intervention, as of course we understand the sensitivity of the OT environment, but it gives the right tools to provide the security teams to mitigate threats effectively before they reach to the critical OT assets. In the last part of the webinar, I'll take the few minutes that we have for a short demo that will showcase how Microsoft Defender XDR with Defender for IT, with Copilot for security, can help you it can help the security teams and the organization to protect OT environments effectively. So we'll kick off the demo with incidents and response. We will start with how our approach to unified IT and OT security can help security teams to leverage the AI-driven insights. So we will deep dive into incidents and alerts. We will begin with an incident that's available in Microsoft Defender XDR. Here, the security operation team can investigate the alert, can track the attack across IT and OT. We can see that this alert is part of impact the OT environment. When I deep dive on that specific incident, I can see that. 1 minute. Okay. We can see the attack story once I'm deep dive for an incident that impact OT environment. I can see that the attack story can help me understand how the incidents, how the alerts are being tracked or being unfolded from IT to OT. Then I can see that the journey starts with an alert triggered by a workstation. Okay. With a workstation that in the IT network that connected to a malicious URL. This alert actually set the stage for our investigation. Actually, I try to take another incident that I wanted to demo. Sorry for that. Try to restart the demo because I missed the incident that I wanted to show. Okay, for some reason I can't find it, so I'll just take another incident. Okay. Okay, so as I said, we can see here the attack story. The attack story provides the full alert, the full story of the incident. We can see where it starts and to where it's and now the attack progress. In the attack story, we can see fused alerts. Okay, we can see alerts from MDE. We can see alerts from different workloads. Usually we can see malicious activity, for example, that detected on the IT devices that can hint on potential risk also for OT devices. And we can see also how they can lateral move for OT environment. In that specific example, I don't have the right alerts, but you can imagine there are here alerts from MDE and alerts from Defender for IT, such as port scans, suspicious malicious activity, etc. All of them on the same impacted assets, providing the full story and how actually the attack was lateral move from the IT environment into the OT environment. In the incident page, we can see several things. First, we can see the impacted devices. We can see which OT devices were impacted, and we can see context about those devices. For example, which data source discovered this device, which protocol, get more context about the alert, how it happens, what exactly happens, etc. And we can see that also Copilot generate a detailed incident response that summarize the attack scope and suggesting actionable steps to mitigate the threat. By opening the alert page, we can take a closer look at a specific alert. The alert that example, for example, suspicious malicious activity. Again, we can see details about the alert, where it's in the MITRE, which source discovered this alert, and some context about the devices, the impacted devices, and the site that was impacted, the sensor that discovered the devices, and etc. Of course, with the context of the incident that I'm specifically now reviewing. While another thing that can be done in the SOC team is to like use the advanced hunting. Advanced hunting can help customers to get more specific about the OT devices that involved, or the vulnerabilities, or potential threat, or even for deeper insights, also to explore how specific OT devices communicating or what kind of network connections or communication this device has with other devices before. That's by leveraging the tables of the incidents and the alerts. And lastly, in terms of inventory, customers can deep dive for a specific OT or IoT devices being involved in an incident and get more context about the device, like deep dive for the device page, and get more context about the device. Let's take example for an OT device. You can see that we can filter by OT devices, or I can filter for a specific site that I want to focus on, and deep dive for a specific device that I want to understand where it's located, what is the type, the vendor, the category, the model, the discovery source, the location of the device, and much more context that can help me understand during investigation process or posture activities, to take the right action and understand the criticality of that device for my organization. That's all for this. Since we have only a few minutes for the end of the webinar, so I'll just kick off, summarize the webinar, and we'll open the stage for questions in case there are any. So thanks for joining today. Thanks for taking the time to explore how Microsoft XDR Defender for IoT and together with Copilot can help transform your OT security approach and make your OT security more effectively. That's it. Hope the insights and the demo was valuable. Feel free to reach out for any questions, or if you need any further assistance, feel free to reach out. Look forward to help you and support through your OT security journey.
Great. Thanks so much. The team has been great with answering all the questions in the chat. We do have a few that were unanswered, so I'll bring those up now. The first is, how is UEBA on each asset to include human being quantified in the conversions?
UEBA today is not being yet integrated. We do work with together with Defender XDR to make the UEBA part of the OT security. So today it's not being it's not yet being integrated.
Great, thank you. The next question is, why are the alerts coming from Azure Security Center, or I guess Microsoft Defender for Cloud?
So alerts are coming from alerts can come from different workloads: Defender for IT, Defender for Cloud, Defender for Endpoint, etc. Defender for IT is one of the data sources. That's why it's being displayed there together with other workloads correlated, fused into one incident. The alerts are being fused from the both data sources, MD and network sensor. That's why they appear in the incident screen.
Great, thank you. This next one is kind of a long one. How about MDE discovery mode, which is standard active mode for IT, while passive is advised for OT environments, from what I hear. But both networks communicate to the same single tenant where there can only be one discovery mode. Can standard mode bring down old OT devices, or is it not that disruptive?
Yeah, I can see a real answer, so I'll just read it out. So as I said, MDE active scanning is designed to be light and to be non-intrusive, and it is based on top of the active discovery, and this can be controlled in the tenant level, and more documentation can be in the chat answer that Ariel showed.
Okay, thank you. The next one is, how does Intune play into the mix here?
So I can jump in. Intune is mainly provided to secure managed devices. So usually OT devices, which are OT networks which are unmanaged, do not have Intune mechanism for security or actually general management. So it's mainly for the managed IT devices that are in the OT environment.
Great, thank you. And the last question we have is, do you have any statistics about how many attackers have been able to use attack paths from OT to IT?
So I don't have the numbers, but we are seeing that the vast majority of the attacks from recently and also recent years, the trend is starting from the IT environment. Even in some cases, it doesn't reach the OT environment, but as a security measure, the organization shut down the OT environment. So even if it doesn't reach in some cases, it could have an impact on the OT environment and to bring to potential operational shutdown. But actually, the vast majority is starting from the IT environment, from what I know, based on recent attacks and the more prominent attack that we've seen in recent years.
Great, thank you. That seems to be all the questions we have. So with that, I'd like to thank you, Amit and Meir, for being our guests and for sharing the great information with our community. Also, thank you to the Q&A team who helped us with answering the questions and providing the resourceful information. To all the listeners still on the line, if you're someone who wishes to aid in the protection of the world from cyber threats and desire to have a say in shaping our strategies, blueprints, and recommendations, then we invite you to become part of our security community. Together, we can make a global impact. So join us at aka.ms/securitycommunity. This is also where you'll be notified about the upcoming webinars, events, and other announcements. Also, please take a minute submitting your webinar feedback at aka.ms/security-webinar-feedback. Thank you all for being part of our community and for joining us on these webinars. We hope to see you next time. Goodbye.